Hey guys, welcome to another episode, and the episode just before round one. This is the big team reveal. This is the main gig. This is the thing that I'm going into 2024 with. There's been a few changes since my early team reveal, and I'm going to show all of my team to you and why I've selected each player. Now, it will be subject to a few rookies, obviously. If they don't get named, they don't get picked for my team. Kinda makes sense. But this is most likely the side that I'm going to go with. Now, before I do reveal my team, I just wanted to say, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all the things. If you're watching this on, Facebook, YouTube, on what are we doing this now? We're doing a podcast now, so it's on Spotify as well, TikTok, Instagram, X. Is it X now? Or Twitter, I suppose. Whichever one, make sure to follow us, as it'll keep you up to date with all of the content that I post for the remainder of the year. Now, here's the team reveal. Drum roll. There it is. So I've got Nick Dacos. I just can't not pick this guy. He was in incredible form in round 0. I know that he's going to be missing a week. but I just want to show you guys this little tool up here, right? The show buys, round 2, I've only got 2 players missing. Round 3, I've only got 3 players missing. Round 5, there's no buys in round 5. I've only got 4 players missing. And a lot of these guys are my bench guys. As long as you don't load up with too many round 0 buy players, the buys aren't going to affect you that much. They're really just not. So for me, Nick Dacos is still worth it because I don't want to start another season without him. I regretted it last year, and then I was scrambling to try to get him later on, and it was annoying. I'd rather just start the guy and not have to worry about it. He already beat his BE. His BE is 100... Where are we? His break-even is 116. And he scored 131, I think it was. Why isn't it not showing me what he scored in round 0? He scored either 131 or 132, or something like that. So, he's already beaten his BE. He's actually going to go up in value, most likely, if he continues at this form. Not down. So, just start him. If he scored an 80 last week, that's when you fade him. But he didn't. He just killed it. And it didn't even look like he was trying all that hard, honestly. I actually think that he can go bigger and better than that. Harry Sheasel, just a lock. This guy he's going to be like Nick Dacos was last year. It looks like he's going to go another level. He won a Best and Fairest and a Rising Star in his first year, and I don't know, this kid could seriously go All-Australian this year. Jaden Short, my God, another 130 plus score. He's back in his primary role. This is the role that he thrives in. And he's back playing that role for the Tigers under Adam Uze. No more Hardwick throwing him in the guts. Look, AFL-wise, he's alright, but Supercoach-wise, it really started to kill his score. He's back in his main role, and man, he's one of my favourite players to watch. I have to pick him. At 551k, if this guy is going to be averaging 100 plus, which in reality he can do in the right role, then you're going to want this guy in your team. Hayden Young, well, everyone's got Hayden Young. He's got a 54% ownership. He's playing midfield. He turned up in the practice games. This guy's going to be on fire this year. Pick this guy. He needs to be in your side. And no round 0 buys. And he's got the best buy in the mid here as well, where only Fremantle and Port Adelaide are missing in that buy. And then he gets to play throughout the rest of them. So Hayden Young, just for buy structure, and also because I think 525k is grossly undervalued. He could be pushing a 600k mark and really be bumping that average to maybe 105, between 100 and 105, and that's for a D4. That's pretty good. Zach Williams started on fire. Looked amazing. Slowed down a little bit towards the end in round 0. But remember, that was the first game he's played in 18 months. Looked fantastic in the first half. This is a guy that could average in the 80s, maybe into the 90s. He's averaged over 100 in the past. Granted, that was at GWS and on the wing. Not at half-back like he's playing at Carlton. But still, this guy is a proven scorer. He's already beaten his BE. I think he scored a 70-odd. And his break-even's 39. So he's at this rate, he's going to double his money. And his on-field scores are just going to be too good. They're going to be way too good for you to fade him. Just pick him. He's going to be missing 1 week, and as I showed you before, it's not going to be a big deal. Howes, this guy made his debut. He scored a 91 on debut. He's going to be making you money. Just pick him, and if he's going to be scoring 90s, great, fantastic. Gibcus is another one that has been in and out of my side. His job security is fantastic. He's in Richmond's best 22, 23. He won't be a sub. He's not a sub risk. He's in Richmond's best 22. That's just the way it is. We know that he's a good player. We know that what this kid can do. He's clean with his disposals. He had 9 disposals on the weekend, and all 9 were effective. He scored an 82 or an 81, which is actually really good, considering, again, his break-even's 27, so he's going to make you money. I think he got up to about the mid 300k mark in his debut season. So, again, he could make you 150k very easily, and he started well. On the bench, if he scores you a 60 on the bench, big deal. He's your bench player. Zach Reed is another one with job security at Essendon. Won't be big scores. He will not have big scores. You do not want him on your field. But job security, he'll be a slow burn, and he most likely will be making you money, which is good, but you do not want him on your field. If he's on your field, you're going to regret that. Bontempelli is the main guy. He's the guy that I'm spending 724k on. Do I think he's going to go down in value? Probably. But also, I can see him averaging 120 for the year. Honestly, I'm not starting a year without the Bont. Butters has one of the best draws in the AFL coming up. Yes, he had an ankle injury. Big deal. They've said that if this was a regular season game, not a practice game, a regular season game, he would have played out the game. He's having 2 weeks off. He's rolled his ankle. He hasn't busted his knee, he's rolled his ankle. Chill. He's going to play, and he's going to play great. His opening games are against West Coast, which he typically doesn't have an amazing record against, but let's be real, he really should. That 94 is pretty low by his standards. I could see him going absolutely ballistic against the Eagles. Then he's got Richmond and Melbourne. Look at the last 2 scores against the Tigers and Melbourne. I want those scores in my team. Then he's got Essendon, Freo. Collingwood's a hard matchup. St Kilda can lock it down. Adelaide, Geelong, Hawthorn, North Melbourne. By round 11, he could seriously be averaging close to 130 points. Honestly, he could. I don't think it's out of the question for him to be averaging 120 plus in those opening 11 games. You have to pick him. No buy. No round 0 buy, and the best mid-year buy. Just like Fremantle. So you have to start a Freo player and a Port Adelaide player. And I'm going with Young and Butters. Matt Rowell. Now, there's a lot of people saying that I'm just picking him because of the hype of his 20 clearance game, which, by the way, is the second best AFL result clearance-wise ever. But that's not the case because he's actually been in my team since Team Picker. He's been a guy that I have been eyeing off since around October when I first posted the article about players that are on the cusp of breakout seasons, and has been in my side since Team Picker days, and he's not leaving. I just think, yes, I know that Touk Miller is a little bit cheaper, and yes, Anderson's already got the All-Australian to his name, but I just feel like Rowell can just go that extra step this year. He's a contestant beast. He's going to be tackling. He's going to be getting clearances. He's clean with the disposals. Honestly, this guy is made for Supercoach, and he will score well. He averaged 100 points last year. I can see that average going to 105, 110, and at 571k, we could be getting a discounted player, and he's a POD. Even after his 131 score, 132, whatever he scored against Richmond, he is still a POD because everyone is looking at the obvious one, which is Miller, and I get it. I understand. If you're going to pick Miller, you can't pick Rowell as well. You can only really have room for one at this stage because of the early buy. But for me, I'm just going to go with the point of difference. I'm going with Rowell, again, for that point of difference. Because on those games that Touk Miller scores 109, 110, and Rowell goes 130, I'm going to be 20 points ahead of the competition. Nick Martin's going to get DDP. His role looks amazing. I could see this kid going bigger and better this season. 492k in theory should be at a massive discount for what this kid's capable of. He's going to get DDP. He's going to be moved into the back line. My aim is to eventually move him into my defensive position, and the same with Holmes. Holmes is another guy that has been on my watch list since Team Picker days. When I wrote the article about guys that I thought was going to break out this season, it was Young, Rowell, and Holmes. All three are in my team, and I'm sticking to that assessment because these three guys look amazing. Holmes is going to get DDP as well, and eventually I'll be able to rotate guys like Martin, Holmes, Young, and Dacos throughout my midfield and defense, and it's going to be really good. So by round 6, I'm hoping Holmes is going to have that DDP. He's scored 100 plus when it came to his practice match and looked really good off that half back line. Now, this is the sort of kid that can really take Geelong to the over the next 10 years. This is the guy that they're looking out for. Them like Tanner Bruin, Jai Clark, it's these guys that are going to be making or shaping Geelong over the next decade. So I could see a big season coming up for Holmes. He's getting to 22 years of age. It's his 4th or 5th season. It's just, this is going to be the year. And if I'm wrong, with the amount of money that I got in reserve and with, rookie elevation, I could quickly switch him to a correction to maybe a Jack Steele type if I get it wrong. And I could easily go Rowell to Miller if I want to as well. But for right now, I'm just going to start with the PODs and see how I go. McKercher didn't have the best practice match, and I know a lot of people are starting to fade him, but the role's good. It's a good role. He's going to be getting a lot of he's playing at halfback for North Melbourne, and the ball is going to be spending a lot of time there. He's got clean disposals. He knows how to use the footy. North Melbourne want the ball in his hands, and by foot, he's going to get it. I can see him making money still. And again, at 202k as a rookie, you can easily swap him out. Sanders just looks incredible. Housewaite is a guy that's been in and out of my team. And I do like Windsor because he's got DDP as well. But I've got too many Melbourne players. Housewaite does not have that early season bye, and if he can retain his position in the side, he should still score roughly around the 80 odd, which means on-field success, as well as the fact that he doesn't have the early bye. It could mean accelerated growth. Roberts has an early season bye, but his role is incredible. Scored 70, I think he scored 70 something in his opening game. Looked good, is in a good role. Sydney are a good team where the only problem with Sydney is they rotate their players a lot. I think if he does play a wing or halfback role, he should still score well enough to make it cash. Darcy Wilson looked incredible in his practice match. You have to start this guy. He's not a POD. A lot of people are. The swing between midfield and forward is going to be crucial, especially considering all of these guys are mids only at the moment. Yes, Roberts will eventually get DDP for the back line. So will Holmes. So will Martin. So will McKercher. Half my midfield is going to be able to rotate into defence soon, which is going to be great come round 6 because it means that I'm going to be able to have so much flexibility, especially instead of trading, because the flexibility is there. You've got to think about that flexibility early. Now, I've also put Wilson in there for now, just because before round 6, I have no flexibility. But I can easily switch Wilson for Dacos. Look at that. That's going to be great, especially when it comes to the early season buys. He's purely there for a loop. Might make his debut as the season progresses, I'm hoping. But he's there for that loop. He's also got DDP, so I can move him around. And honestly, my backline and my midfield are just going to have constant rotations throughout the year. I'm going with a POD ruck. This is a guy that won me my draft league grand final. Honestly, this guy is the reason I made $1,000 last year, and I'm very happy with him. Kieran Briggs, he looked really good in the first half in round 0 against the Pies. Dropped off late, but still in a game that he lost the ruck battle between Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox. He lost it, and he still scored 109. If that is his basement score, my God, I want this guy in my team. Also, look at his opening games. North Melbourne. His last game against North, he scored 114. And I think that was against Todd Goldstein, not Cherry. Then he's got West Coast. He could score 200 against West Coast. Their ruck is barely AFL. Their ruck is barely VFL level. He's going to go nuts. Then he's got Gold Coast. Now, Gold Coast is a tough opponent. Jared Witts is a lockdown ruckman. So, it is what it is. He probably won't score amazing against the Suns. But then St Kilda, Marshall likes to run off his opposition ruckman, so he probably will score well against Marshall. He'll definitely beat him in the ruck contest. Carlton's ruck is laughable. Brisbane, again, he should do alright. Then he's got Brodie Grundy, which is a tough opponent. Then he's got Goldstein, and again, we saw what he did against North Melbourne when it came to matching up against Goldstein. So, for me, I just feel like Briggs can be that point of difference. He's going to score over 100 every week. I just can't go with Gawn after he scored a 60. I just can't do it. Gawn's 32. His body's slowly breaking down. I just can't pick the same ruck line I picked in 2018. I just can't go with Gawn and Grundy. Again, I don't know. It's just, he's at the wrong end of 30. I don't love the pick. And he just came off a 60. Can I really be starting a guy that just came off a 60? No, I can't. And I just can't see there being a massive difference between Briggs and Gawn. And the POD is more valuable to me than, I don't know, the 1 week that Gawn goes 170. He's going to go 170 once. I know it's going to happen. And I know I'm going to be hating it, watching Gawn do that, and him not being in my team. But you know what? If Kieran Briggs can do the same against West Coast, well, then I've done well. Grundy, lock. Absolute lock. Just put him in your team. Looked incredible on the weekend. He's easily Sydney's best ruck. Laddams is not even in the side. And just do it. Naismith, he looks good. There's been reports that Nankervis's injury might be worse than expected. So, honestly, if this guy plays 3 games, which is more than capable of doing, he's going to be making you money. He just came off a 90-plus score. Just pick the guy. If you actually look, my buy structure for these 3 ruckmen are perfect because I never have less than 2 rucks available. Look at this. Round 2, I've got all 3 rucks available. Round 3, Kieran Briggs is unavailable, but I got Grundy and Naismith. Round 5, Grundy's unavailable, but I got Briggs back and I got Naismith. Round 6, Naismith is unavailable, and let's be real, Nankervis is probably back by then, so I'm kind of hoping I'm moving him on anyway. And I got Briggs and Grundy back. So this combination of 3 ruckmen, perfect for this early buy structure. And I'm actually really excited about that, honestly. Moving on to my forward line, I'm going with another point of difference. Rankin looked amazing in pre-season. I've been looking at him closely. That midfield position is real. He is getting CBA attendances and he looks good in the guts. And it means that guys like Laird, and it means guys like, Jordan Dawson, are actually being moved away from the CBAs. They're still getting plenty of CBAs and they're still good picks in themselves, but they will get more halfback or wing time, while Rankin is going to be rotating from that forward line into the midfield. He's going to be getting some clearance work, CBA, some tackles. He's going to get a lot more of the ball, but also he will be playing forward. If he kicks a couple of goals, his scoring is going to be pretty good. I can honestly see a world where this guy is the 5th or 6th best forward at the end of the season now, because we don't know what DDP there are going to be come round 6. You know, we're assuming there's going to be great options, but there might not be. Last year, the only really relevant DDP that we got in the forward line was McRae, and that had its ups and downs. So, why we're expecting there to be a great DDP like the year before where Bontempelli moved into the forward line, I don't know, because there's no guarantee that we're going to get that. And I think at the moment, Rankin could be that 5th or 6th best forward for the season, and I'd rather pick him at 461k than 520, 530k potentially. Zach Fisher, I didn't want to start this guy. I still have my doubts. I really do. But he looked good in the preseason. It looks like the role is there. Let's see how we go. I can easily trade him down to a cheaper player if need be. I'm going to take it. He's in too many teams for me to just ignore him. I still don't love this pick, and he's the only player in my team I don't love. But I'm going to go with it anyway. Fife is life. Pick this guy. He should score 100 every week. If his body breaks down in round 5, so be it. He's probably made you 100k by that point anyway. James Jordan looks like he's got the stuff. His first score was okay. It was okay. But if that is his basement score, he's going to do well for you because he's got DDP, as I said earlier. But again, with Taylor Adams injured, Callum Mills still weeks and weeks away, actually months away, Parker's still a good fair way away as well, this guy's going to be getting a lot more midfield time. As the others move back in, he'll be juiced up by then, and you just move him on. Just make your money. Don't expect 100 plus scores. Expect your 70s and 80s. Enjoy it. Make it cash. Then piss him off. Harley Reid, look, his first practice match he looked terrible. But his second practice match he looked great. No, not great. He looked good. The role's there. He's going to be rotating between halfback and midfield. The role is there. Okay? And if we get it wrong, just trade him down to another rookie by round 2, just before price changes. He doesn't have an early buy. He's got DDP. The role is good. Your forward line's shit anyway. You may as well give it a go. He's in 74% of teams. I rather pick him and it not work out, or it's just average and he only makes you 50k, than not pick him and watch him score 110 in one of those games. I'd rather just have him. I faded Sheasel at the start of last year. Yeah, I did that because I didn't see the tweet in time that said that he was going to be playing half-back, and I thought he was going to be a forward pocket. I am not fading Harley Reid again. I do not have the balls to do that 2 years in a row. Now, Sexton, look, his disposal efficiency wasn't amazing in his first game at half-back, but he got plenty of the footy. He cleans up that disposal count, he can easily start averaging in the 90s. Easily. This guy has to be in your team. Has to be in your team. Just lock him in. Cadman, he scored 55 on the weekend. This is a guy you'd want on your bench. But in saying that, he's opening 2 games against North Melbourne and West Coast. He could seriously kick 3-4 goals against both of them and be averaging in the 80s and 90s by the time round 3 comes along. He's got Gold Coast. Yeah, they're okay. St Kilda, they're a pretty good team defensively. Carlton are alright defensively as well. Brisbane, it's tough. It is Sydney, it is tough. He's got a tough draw, but he's opening 2 games. If he kicks 4 in each of those games, his break-even's 23. He can make his money by round 3, well before the time he plays Brisbane. You could move him on, well before then. And he's at a discount from last year. He's the number 1 draft pick. This kid, former number 1 draft pick, this kid's got talent. I'm going to go with it. I've got Sean Manor in the side at the moment as my F8. I don't know if he'll even play. He only played 20-something% of the game. Looked really good. He's 26 years old. He's ready to go. And we know Geelong like to play older players. It's possible that he's not old enough for Geelong yet. You know, he's a 5-year prospect. He starts getting, regular games at 31, 32. But he's 20. The reality is he's 26. He should play. He looks good. This guy is a ready-made player. He's got DDP. If he doesn't get picked, he's not in my team. Or if he doesn't get picked, he'll probably be my loop. And then I'll probably move Wilson on for someone like Jai Clark, who I think will get a lot of games. So I'm trying to see, obviously, with the rookies who gets picked. So for me, if Manor doesn't get picked, he'll just be my loop option. And then Wilson will then be moved on, no longer be my loop. And I'll probably get Jai Clark, who I'll be very surprised if he doesn't play. If he doesn't play round 1. So this is the team that I'm most likely going with, unless there's a last-minute injury or a guy isn't selected. That is the only way that I'll be making any changes to this lineup. I'm sold. Last year, I hated my team coming into round 1. I was looking at it. I thought it was gross. I did not like my team, and I had a shit year as a result. This year, I'm genuinely happy with all my selections, and I'm confident, and I feel good. I feel really good entering this year. And again, if things don't work out, I've got a bit of money in the bank where I can easily make some corrections. Holmes very easily can turn into like a Jack Steele if Jack Steele starts to fire, for example. Rankin can easily be turned into a what's his name? A Luke Jackson. I was considering Luke Jackson, especially at the start of last week, but I'm only getting him for 2-3 weeks. Okay, and that's the thing. Sean Darcy could seriously be back by round 2. In reality, he could be back by round 2. He could be back by round 3, and then you're trading Luke Jackson away instead of making a correction in maybe Holmes doesn't work out or Rankin doesn't work out. So for me, I'm going to fade the whole Jackson thing, and I'm going to be starting guys who I genuinely think can either make a crap load of money or could be keepers or really just work with my rotation. Half my midfield are going to rotate with my backline eventually. And come buy round, that is going to be so important come the mid-year buys. And that is my strategy to make sure I have as many high-scoring players as possible on my field as possible throughout the buys. That is something that I really try to do. And this is why I've got this team. This team's not just because these are the guys that I think are good value or in primary positions to score well. It's also guys that I think are going to rotate. There's a structure. There's a structure where no matter what, if there's an injury for a week, I can cover it. If there's a suspension for a week or two, I can cover it. I want to save my trades because last year came, the Supercoach finals, and what was I doing? I had Doherty on my bench. I had Dacos on my bench, injured. I had McRae injured on my bench. I had someone else whose name escapes me also on my bench injured, and I was rolling guys. I think Roberts. I think Roberts was someone that I had to play in the last game of the year, and he scored something ridiculous. What did he score? He scored 34 in one of these last games, and I had to roll with that. And I'm thinking, why? Why did I do that to myself? Why did I put myself in that position? And I bombed out of pretty late in my main league's final series because I'm rolling guys in with 34s because I had no trades left. That is not happening this year. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to have no trades come finals. It's going to be a different year, a much better year, and it's going to be a good year. Now, I mentioned this in a previous podcast as well. I've joined the Supercoach PodMasters group. It is I think it's top 40 of the best podcasters, and I am honoured to be even thought of when it came to this. I'm in a league with guys going head-to-head with guys like the guys from Dr. Supercoach or the Supercoach co-captains. Tim Mitchell's in it. There are some serious super coaches. We've got Jai Peterson, who was the guy that won it a couple of years ago. I think Supercoach Mama's in this. I'm not 100%. But there are some serious Supercoach players in this group. And I'm going head-to-head against them. And it's going to be amazing. I'm in the public one, which you guys can join. I'll put the league code in the description below, by the way. I will do that if you're watching this on YouTube. So you can join the public one, and all of these Supercoach podcasters are all in that as well, so you can go up and head-to-head with them, but I'm in a private league competition with them as well, so I'm going to see how I do against that. But I'm going to have a link. Now, there's going to be a link in my description, which is a link with Lifeline, and it's actually a charity league, so $50 entry, $25 goes to Lifeline, and the rest goes into the prize pool, so whoever wins the head-to-head clash wins a bit of money out of it. Yeah, they're the best podcaster in Australia. They're also the best Supercoach player for 2024 anyway. And it's going to be great. I'm hoping I win that. Probably not, because the guys I'm going against are absolutely insane. But it is pretty cool. It's a good cause as well. So get involved. All the information is going to be in the link. In the bio. The link will be there as well. So this will be how you can join in on that. It'll be all in my description, and I can't wait for the big year ahead. Anyway, that's me. Please make sure to subscribe, like, whatever medium that you're watching this on, and I guess I'll see you guys next week.